What's this? What has been brought to my attention? It bloody reeks. Reeks of blood. Seminal fluids. Yeah, no, but there's something more. It's deceit, secrecy, concealment, consolidation. I think our friend Kero the Wolf has made his rampant return.
Greetings, friends. Freeman here. Welcome back to another episode here at the channel, and another installment of Freeman vs. Furries. So, this is not a bring back to everyone's favorite Darbo. This is someone that is far, far deeper down the line. And Darbo is a nice man in comparison to pretty much anything that's going to be talked about today. Because today we're talking about everyone's favorite Kero the Wolf. And with me, I have a very special person. The person I consider at least to have been one of the best people in covering the whole ordeal with the Zoosadist leaks. And that is Mr. or Mrs. Archive the Wolf?
Mr.
Mr. Right, Mr. Archive the Wolf. Welcome to the channel.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, pleasure. So, yeah, no, for anyone who doesn't know exactly what we're going to be talking about today, about 3 years ago now, is it?
2.5 years ago.
Okay, 2.5 years ago, a person by the name of Zoodonym leaked a large folder, a large amount of screenshots and essentially chat logs coming from the app Telegram, containing several terrible conversations that was had between, how many people was it? 8? 12?
Yeah, I'm trying. Gosh, I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was, 8 or 9, somewhere like there in the original dump, and then there was some more found out later too.
Around about 8 or 12. So
yeah,
and essentially what these people did were some really, really heinous shit. We're talking about mutilation of animals. We're talking about the rape of animals as well. We're talking about animal abuse in the most extreme and severe. So if this is something that does wrench your gut and is something that you don't want to look at, this probably isn't the episode for you. Whilst we're not going to go too much into detail about it, this is the person who partook in it. And we're going to share some information, some screenshots and all of that from not only what happened, but also from previously dug up earth. And we have quite a little thing to talk about today, and that is indeed Kero. So, Archive, you've been like the best that I've seen, at least, that have covered the whole thing about Kero. So I'm a little bit curious, actually, what drove you to actually cover Kero the Wolf and the entire case, I should say, as extensively as you did?
I guess it started in September when everything dropped. Like, I was really interested in the story, but I was also busy with school at the time. Mm-hmm. So I could only really keep up on the sidelines, but I wanted to know what was going on. And so I remember after school, during winter break, I was just poring over all the information I could find, because it's just it's like, you peel the veil back and you can't put it back down. You see behind the curtain, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on? And then I started talking to one of the people I want to talk about. She doesn't want to be mentioned on the show, but she and I started talking. She started telling me some stuff, and then actually what it was that made me inspired to start the channel was I learned that Kero had privated the video about Colin Collie. And I don't know why, but that just it was he put up this video the furry fandom has a drug problem. Rest in peace, Colwyn Colley, where he talked about how his boyfriend Colwyn had died of a drug overdose, but people are like, who the fuck is Colwyn Colley? Like, there's nothing about this guy. And then during the Zoosadism leaks, it turned out that no, the guy, he was actually a Zoosadist named Illonesheppypaws, and Kero had completely lied about who he was so he could milk his fans for sympathy without having to admit he'd been dating an animal torturer.
Wow, okay. Yeah, that's quite the...
Yeah, so yeah, I found out he privated that video, and I'm just like, no, you don't, you motherfucker. You don't get to hide what you did. So that's what set me off on the channel, and just to keep covering it, because it's like, I can handle looking at this stuff. I can tell people what happened.
Yeah, you gotta have, like, a really strong stomach to, like, go through this stuff. And even Mr. Metokur, when he went through it, found it to be too much. I think he was drinking heavily at the time as well when he was reading through it, because it was just too torturous for him to try and go through. So
yeah, and how he had to, like, stop one of the live streams because it was just so bad.
It was really bad. But yeah, no, he's been covering this as well when it was important. And you're covering it to this day, and we're going to get into that a little bit later. But for now, there's a lot of things that has happened. Like, my general reaction when this happened, well, let's just say it gave me a hell of a lot of testosterone and dopamine when I went to the gym, because I wanted to beat the living shit out of everyone that was in the logs when I first heard about it. But I've not really talked actively about it. I kind of missed the whole train about that because I wanted to see essentially what transpired, because it looked like such a... It's such a heavy accusation that that there would be some major proof required for that to, be truthful. Mm-hmm. So the fandom's reaction to all of this was really interesting. Do you remember what it was when he first was outed, the fandom's reaction?
I think a lot of it was like shock, and people didn't really understand what was going on.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of, especially because there was a lot of confusion about who had done what and who was responsible for, like, what videos and pictures.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was a lot of disgust from what I can remember, but also people being, like, in denial because it just confusion and not understanding.
Yeah, and I can... it does make sense.
Yeah. And then, of course, people, just blindly standing by people who are in the logs because, they're my friend. They wouldn't do that.
Yeah, but I noticed as well, like, when the logs were dropped and shit like that, they had a... So what I heard, at least, about this was the fact that they had a lot of defenders early on. And I can understand to a degree why people would defend them early on, because, like, when someone immediately stands up, Phoenix Wright style, and just points he is guilty of having murdered and raped several animals, and usually murdered them by raping them, then of course people are going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Sit down, Jesus, no, let's reason this out. So it's a very strong claim to be making, obviously, that someone has done something like that. So it's understandable that people wanted to defend it at first, but as far as I remember, support and defense dried up fairly rapidly. But I don't know, did it dry up, or did they have, like, staunch defenders and supporters till the very, very end?
Yeah, I mean, he still has supporters to this day, but it's definitely dried way up. And, like, even some of the people who defended him back then, like, very publicly, like, they still defend him, but they're not talking about him anymore. Like Ashley Zoe Fox.
Ashley Zoe Fox defends him?
Yeah, she had him on her channel for that one interview, and then she and her friend went around Anthrocon dressed in his fursuit to fuck with people.
Yeah, that video as well. Jesus, was that like that was directly after he was outed?
Yeah, it was Anthrocon. Yeah, okay, yeah, it was 2019 because 2020 they didn't have Anthrocon.
Okay.
Excuse me.
That's all right. So, now, the fandom's general reaction when it came out was indeed shock and awe, disgust, and also rapid defense. But today people are very, like, anti-Kero. as far as I've noticed, at least. What's your general reaction?
Yeah, from what I've seen, the vast majority of people understand what he did, and they know that he's guilty of it.
So yeah, no, there's indeed a lot that he is to be found guilty of by accordance of what has been discovered. And if any one of you guys are really much so having huge question marks pop above your heads and you don't know what we're talking about, head over actually to Archive the Wolf's channel. It'll be in the description, and you can see every video you need to see actually in regards to what has happened. And it's quite the thing. So whilst everyone has, and there are people that are worse than him.
Oh yeah,
We'll just leave it at that because today is only Kero. So yeah, no,
we only have so many barf bags on hand.
Exactly. But no, you've done a heck of a job trying to keep track of this and trying to make light of the situation, and also try to also throw off some allegations that were out there. Like a lot of people said that, oh, this is Kero, like in every video that came up.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't the one who dispelled all of those. Like, a lot of those were dispelled pretty quickly. But a lot of people still blame him for one of the deer videos. Not the one where you can see the guy's face, but the one where, like, you couldn't... There was a different one in the daylight where you couldn't see who was filming it. Mm-hmm. And people still think that's him, and it's like, no, that's not him.
Yeah, no. So... Yeah, no, general anger, confusion, and uncertainty just led to a shotgun effect. So... Yeah, so, as to the whole ordeal, though, it's been 2.5 years since all of this kind of blew up, and Kero the Wolf left the internet for those 2 years. And he is a very interesting individual, because he hasn't proved, like, what has he released himself that contradicts all the evidence against him? Has he actually shown anything to, like, go against what people are saying? That is
the only thing he's shown. He was accused of being in one of the deer videos, and in that video you can see the guy's face, and you can see he has a tattoo on his chest. And so Kero took a picture of, like, his chest and said, like, I don't have a tattoo, I'm not the guy in this video, because objectively, he wasn't responsible for it, and that's the only thing he can defend himself on. And so he's been hinging on, well, people were wrong about this one video, so they're wrong about everything.
Okay.
But he hasn't shown proof to dispel anything else.
Yeah, no, that's the thing that has gotten me as well. Like, for those of you who haven't seen, Kero the Wolf made a video called Coming Back, or I'm Back, or whatever it was.
Yeah, My Side.
My Side, yeah, that's the one. No, the thumbnail was I'm Back, but anyway. Yeah, and he pretty much talked about this. But that's the thing. From my experience, it was just dead air. He doesn't say... He says a lot, but it doesn't show anything.
Yeah, it's basically this, oh, well, the cops didn't find me guilty. This could have been edited.
Yeah.
And also, like, backtracking on a lot of stuff he said in the past. Not mentioning that whole Iranian super hacker story he tried to spin.
Oh. That's something that actually... isn't too widely covered, but I love that. So, for those of you who don't know, when Kero the Wolf was first accused of being a part of the Zoosadist group, he said that he had been hacked on Telegram by Iranian super hackers.
Yeah, he posted this screenshot saying, "Oh my God, guys, I've been hacked on Telegram," and it was within 5 hours of the logs being posted, but before anybody knew what was going on. So he was already trying to spin the story, like, right out of the gate. And then, but if you looked at
5 hours before or 5 hours after?
Yeah. So
was it
before
the screenshot, or after that he posted the screenshot?
Oh no, 5 hours after.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the logs got posted at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then Kero's tweet came out at 11 o'clock in the morning.
All right.
But yeah, if you looked at the actual sessions on that screenshot, it showed IR, which is Iran,
Yep.
So I think it was Metokur who came up with the phrase Iranian super hackers.
Oh, okay. That hackers from Iran apparently hacked his Telegram account and did this kind of stuff, which is an interesting thing because it's so ridiculous that he essentially believes that there's been a troll op on him for over the course of God knows how long, essentially faking everything, every screenshot, every account, every social media presence that, any form of presence that would, indicate him is just false.
Yep.
But he has nothing to show for it. He has no, for example, the Telegram ID. Every Telegram account has a Telegram ID. And you can't get new ones, right? Unless you make a whole new account.
Right. So, yeah, even if you change your name on Telegram, your user ID is always going to stay the same.
Yeah. And same thing kind of goes for example, Discord. But that's the thing. He never showed his IP. He never ID. I mean, he never showed his Telegram ID.
Yeah. Other people showed that. I think it was Nas Hyena was the one who really drove a lot of people because he had been talking with Kero on Telegram. And on Telegram, there's a thing called the user ID bot. And if you forward a message to the bot, it sends you the user ID of the person behind that message.
All right.
So he was able to take his DMs from Kero, run through the bot, get the user ID, and then take some of the forwarded messages from the Zoosadist Telegram channel that were alleged to be from Kero's account, run them through the bot. Sure enough, it's the exact same ID.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason that Kero actually dropped the super hacker story was it was in the chat logs between him and Kothorix. And Kothorix was like, hey, these forwarded messages, they're from your account, they're confirmed from your account. The only way these could be fake is if the hackers edited them. And one of them was like, I took a big knot, it ripped me and I never healed right. And Kero tried to say, oh no, they changed that. I said I took a big dick from a guy. It was a guy. I didn't say a dog. And then Kothric's like, oh my God. So it gets better. And then Kothorix told him, Kero, you can't edit messages on Telegram after 72 hours. These messages are months old. What you're saying is impossible. Kero had to admit. Kero had to be like, fine, but they took it out of context. So I think that's why he dropped the hacker story, because he realized he couldn't use it to explain those forwarded messages.
But he still uses it as an excuse, because, something as well that has come up is essentially HTML editing, where he has posted, there's proof that the logs are fake, it's a massive troll up against me, by essentially posting a video that shows that, hey, look, you can change the logs.
Yeah, it's like, because you can technically do this, that means that is what happened.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's not how it works, Kero.
Yeah.
Especially not when the friend you're showing this, here's how it could have been fake. The same guy is saying, oh, I have hard proof that it's fake, that he hasn't shown in 2 fucking years.
Yeah. That's some unfortunate shit. Well, what can one do, really? Kero is a very hard person to believe, though, in this sense, just because of the fact that he hasn't shown any receipts of his own. And this is something that I brought up with you that I really want to bring up again. If it comes to the conclusion that Kero would have been innocent, and here's the thing, this is a huge thing. Being essentially outed as this kind of stuff, as an animal abuser, as an animal torturer, as an animal rapist, in the furry fandom, that's your Judas, essentially. Because the furry fandom, believe it or not, loves animals in not that way. So there are some sensible heads in there. And when this sort of stuff came out, they were pretty pissed off, obviously. So what's interesting in regards to the fact that all this comes up, is that he doesn't show any receipts. He doesn't go the Projared approach, for example. Projared was charged for less. He was charged... Less and less. No, he wasn't actually. First it was that he was cheating on his wife, and the second thing was that he was sending his dick to minors. And I don't know about the cheating part, because I haven't really fully looked into that. All I've seen is that it was something about open relationship, and as soon as I heard open relationship, already I tuned out because I couldn't care. And then there was the second part, which was the fact that he had apparently sent his dick to minors. And it was true that he had done that, but the thing was that these people were not, according to themselves, minors when they sent it. Because the thing is, like, he did engage with these people, sexually speaking, but he always made sure that these people were of age. Like, he asked them, "Are you of age?" Because, you know, how else are you really going to confirm? No one on the internet. Yeah, because no one on the internet is. Okay, I say no one, but you know what I mean. Is dumb enough to give out their actual ID card or something like that. That'd be dumb as hell. So, no, he had to go by their word when they said that that they were 18, and as such they continued. But it turned out apparently later that they were actually lying about their age, but they came out as if though, like, oh, they'd been manipulated or they'd been used or something.
Or yeah, like he knew their age and he did it anyway.
Yeah, he knew their age and did it anyway. So, yeah, no. And that hit some huge news, like, worldwide for a limited time. And this thing... sorry.
I was just gonna say, it's kind of like weird how something like that, like, oh, Projared cheated on his wife and sent dick pics to fans, like, that gets international news, but this fucking story with Kero is, like, gone nowhere in the public sphere.
Because
outside of Twitter and YouTube.
Oh, because people don't care. Nowadays, it's all about losing face. The moment you lose face is the moment you're dead, and the piranhas come to eat you. So. No, but with Kero, he lost face, you can say, but it was a whole different thing, because it's within a sort of enclosed sphere, which the furry fandom, in a sense, is. So, no, the thing is, though, he could have gone with the Projared approach, and, you know, maybe wait a month or two for this to calm down, and in the meanwhile, gather everything. And then essentially just release the receipts. Show what actually happened. That, no, this isn't me. Here's my actual Telegram ID. I'll show you when I log in. And here's when it was created. You know, like that. Go through a process of showing, you know, credible evidence against the charge. But he's done none.
Yeah, because he said he talked to Snakething, but oh no, I didn't say those things. Like, okay, like, could you get those chat logs at all? It's like could you show us the actual chat logs you had with Snakething then?
It's like he's trying to mediate the evidence by the sound of it. It's like, oh yeah, I talked to Snakething, but I didn't say those things. It's like, okay, so you did talk to him, that's confirmed, but you didn't say these things. It's like it's a very weird approach, but regardless though, he has indeed come back, and he has left kind of just as quickly, which is interesting. But he posted. He has been posting a lot on his account, and looking at his community section here, he does say this. I don't care about... okay, let's have a real discussion right now, because honestly, this is getting ridiculous. I don't care for hate comments. They don't bother me. Really, Kero? Yeah. So, the voice of truth, or King Truth, has nothing to do with your curated chat of positive hug boxing.
Oh, yeah, that guy. He is nuts.
Yeah, I mean, if it was to the conclusion that... Yeah, okay, so to give you guys an understanding of what's happening as well. Of course, then Kero has a little...
GNE squad.
Yeah, a little butt buddy that runs around and essentially deletes comments, acts as his moderator, and also as his personal bitch whip, essentially. Because this person has been deleting comments in every comment section related to him. Has given some... tried to, write everyone who criticizes him off as haters.
Haters, trolls, the false furries.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
Don't believe the false furries.
The false furries. He doesn't like Disney. Execute him. God. So, what stories do you have from this bloke? Because I've seen some of it. Him curating the chat and really just removing comments that were negative.
Yeah, I mean, just that, and then also, like, if you leave a negative comment, he would go to your channel. Like, if you had anything he could comment on, he would leave a comment telling you, like, oh, did you know that Kero has been under investigation for 2 years and they haven't found anything? I deleted your comment. You can say you're sorry and I'll let you back. But if not, I'll ban you.
It's funny because that leads into another thing. Did you also know that the police found that his stuff was scrubbed and altered on the hard drives?
Yep.
Because this is another thing we're getting into. So we've been talking a lot about what he's been doing, but now it's time to also prove a little bit that he has been doing it. Because whilst some stuff has been floating around the screen, this is one of the bigger ones that has happened. And that is the fact that he hinges on the fact that the police has not found him guilty. And that has a large, story, I suppose, in and of itself. And since you've been in contact with them, why don't you tell us what happened?
So this was back in August 2019. The person who I'm in contact with, who's in contact with the lead investigator, got a call from him, and he gave some information, and that's when we got the news that the New York case had closed. The FBI had gotten Kero's devices, and that's when we got word that the devices that they were looking through were clearly scrubbed or encrypted.
Yeah.
And they were trying to, so they couldn't find anything on the scrubbed ones, and they were trying to break through the encrypted devices, but I guess they ran out of time for the 2 years, or they just couldn't do it and finally had to throw in the towel.
Because that's something I'm a little bit curious about, because, so the FBI investigated him, and if something was encrypted to the point where the police did not have enough resources to do it, then the FBI would have the necessary equipment to de-encrypt it. But that's a question I wonder as well, because they can't just keep his stuff forever. They have to give it back.
Right.
When they give it back, let's say that, okay, we didn't have enough time. Aren't they allowed to, save anything? Save the data to, try and mix with it later, just to see, okay, we didn't have time, so here's your devices, but we're keeping a copy of the encryption for us to try and open.
I don't believe so, because I guess in court a defense attorney could argue that, oh well, this wasn't from the device, this is from a copy. How do we know it wasn't altered?
Right. Well, that's the thing. It's the FBI. Whilst the FBI would they release something like this to the public? Would they release if they found anything? Or would it just be something that
the closest they would come to releasing it would just be arresting him.
All right.
If they were to ever figure out a way to break into his stuff. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I don't think they can do that at this point.
Well, I mean, that's the thing though. If it comes to the conclusion that the encryption holds some really damning shit, and then they managed to break the encryption, and they'd find videos of him, I don't know, doing something to Coda, which is his dog, by the way, that is sadly dead. Doing stuff to Coda, and you can clearly see it's him. Everything is there. Would that not be enough in the court to be you can see this is him? No copying in the world is going to make this not what it is.
Well, with things like Coda, it would be an issue of statute of limitations, because Coda died in early 2017.
Oh yeah, and it's 2 years.
And in New York, bestiality is a misdemeanor. And the statute of misdemeanor crimes in New York is 2 years. Mm-hmm. So it'd be too late to investigate him further or charge him for those.
And that's also why he's coming back so late as well, maybe, because if that also brings a little bit of theory. This would be a theory part then, that he's trying to hide the paper trail. If it comes to the conclusion that the devices were indeed scrubbed, But because of statute of limitations, they can't really do anything. He's just waiting it out until the statute of limitations is essentially gone. Because if this was something that happened, a few years back and the dog is already dead, they can't really do anything about it because statute of limitation.
Yeah. Plus the dog being dead, he's, and I hate to say it, but he is safe now. He's finally safe. Kero.
All dogs go to heaven. I'm sorry if I sound a little bit weird when I talk, by the way, if I don't make coherent sentences. I'm operating on very, very little sleep. But, yeah, no. And Kero himself, though, has tried to return. And with his return, the backlash was immense.
Immense and immediate.
Not only did people on YouTube not find it favorable that he returned, but Twitter too.
Yep. The two main furry places outside of Fur Affinity and shit. Which he came back and he immediately got banned from Fur Affinity.
He got banned from Fur Affinity.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like Dragoneer. It's really funny that you care. You pretend to care about Zoophile's dragon. You're like, fuck off. We all know a Zoophile is your right-hand man on the site. We all know what you did with wildlife.
I mean, hey.
We all know what you did with Mobius Fox. Fuck off, dude. I'm fine with him being banned. It's funny, but yeah. It's moral grandstanding on Dragoneer's part.
I mean, hey, if he really wants to go to some place to do that kind of stuff, he will always have Sangi at fucking Inkfur.
Yep. Well, he's not much of an artist. He doesn't post art. He just does video stuff on YouTube, so.
Oh, Sangi does?
No, Kero.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant Sangi. I was like, what the
Yeah.
Okay.
And Sangi's more of an art curator than an actual artist himself.
Well, yeah, that's fair enough, but that's why he could probably go to him, because if he is a curator, that means he probably has the stuff. Fucking hell. Sanji's a whole different can of worms to dig into.
Yep.
Which we're not going to do now because that's...
the patron saint of sex weirdos.
Yeah. As the great ones told us. Oh, boy. But yeah, no. He has been talked down by virtually everyone online, as far as I've been able to tell. The guys over at Twitter was not particularly fond of his return, and especially one person... the creator of Zootopia told him to fuck off.
Yeah.
I mean, how demoralizing must that be? The guy who made the furry, dream come true, movie-wise.
Yeah.
Is telling him to...
not even the mouse wants to deal with Keros shit.
Oh, God. You know what would be kind of horrible, but almost... it would be just horrible, actually, if it happened, but imagine if Kero now, after everything, just decides that I'm going to start teaming up with Zooier than thou.
Oh, God. That was actually something I pointed out in my my video that I did, which we'll get into that in a second, but
yeah.
He's like, Snakething almost got away with it because people were so focused on me. He was the real monster, and that's literally almost for word what they said on Zooier than now about him.
I mean, that's. I'm glad you brought that up, because something that seemed to be the case as well was that a lot of the guys that was outed just blamed Snakething. He was essentially the sinner to put all sins on.
Yeah, which he was a guy who got off on corrupting himself, so he was always pushing himself to have more fucked up fetishes. Yeah,
but it's in a sense. I mean, it sounds really weird. It feels really weird saying it, but it's a little bit unfair putting their own degeneracy in the hands of him when they were more than cognitive about what they were doing.
Yeah, I think it was Eliteknight also tried to say. He was another guy in the ring, and he tried to say, "Oh, guys, I was so sad and lonely, and Snakething took advantage of that to make me rape my dog." It's no, dude, we have the fucking chat log.
Yeah, no.
We could see that it was first 100 messages. This wasn't him being "Oh, give me stuff and I'll be your friend." It was, "Oh, give me stuff and I will give you these rare content that I have," and that's why you fucking did it. don't try to fucking beat around the bush, dude.
Yeah.
And so you raped your dog because you were sad. I just wanted friends, guys. That's why I was shoving all my bad dragon dildos down my dog's mouth while she gagged and tried to run away.
Please stop. I want to open this window and just take a leap of faith.
Suffer as I have suffered.
Jesus Christ. As you can hear, guys, this isn't the fucking best thing to be listening to when you're as tired as I am. So...
Yeah, and if I ever start going too far again, just let me know.
It's all right. I mean, I've got a strong stomach, but YouTube doesn't. So, and it's a good thing that you brought it up as well, because you may, when you said your video, because you have made a video. In the description, guys, there will be linked a video that Archive has done, called
The original title was Kero the Wolf asking basic questions.
Yeah. And then
there's a reason why it now has a different name on a different channel.
Yeah, so you'll see it on a different channel. And do tell us what happened.
So I posted my video on Monday at 5 o'clock. Kero the Wolf asking basic questions. And by 8:45... he had filed a copyright strike against it, and this is the first time he's ever done something like that against... Okay, I should say, when I first started my channel, because I was doing the Call One Collie video, I was like, well, I want to prove that I'm not bullshitting, but he's privated the video, so all I can really do is re-upload the video. The Call One Collie video he made. So I did that, and he struck that down. It's like, well, fuck off, dude, but also he did have the right to do that, because it wasn't transformative. It was just a re-upload of that video. But this one, the one I made, it was transformative. It was objectively within fair use.
Yeah, but...
And he's at all these other videos that people have made about him, he hasn't struck, but this one, he struck down because I proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that he's a fucking liar, and he couldn't handle that.
So why is it, though, that he struck down you of all? Because there's been other people that has been talking about this. There's been other channels talking about this. Why you specifically? Why hasn't he done a Jake Paul situation or something else where he just goes and messes with everybody that says anything?
I talked about this a bit on Twitter. It's because if you're just talking about if the point of your video boils down to the chat logs are real and Kero rapes dogs, that's all shit he can deny. He's been denying it for years.
Yeah.
And if he can deny it, he won't touch your video. The thing is, I didn't do that. I just went out to prove that he's a liar by using his own words against him. And also the Kothorix logs, which he couldn't deny were true because he used them in his own video.
Yeah.
It's I pinned him in a corner where only thing he could say was I was right, and he can't handle when that happens. So he tried to delete my video.
And Kero has, done, he really doesn't seem to like you too much.
No, well, the feeling's mutual. I'd say what I'd like Kero to do to himself, but I don't want to get your channel banned. So.
No, that's understandable. I don't want to get into that kind of trail again. But, a lot of stuff has really come out, though, in regards to Kero, and some of the stuff that also has come out was something as well about what was it called? Reddit. That's it.
Yes.
Yes. Stuff that happened on Reddit as well, where it was under a account named the Dogman 2. Yeah.
So this was discovered in January. This guy on Kiwi Farms, Framped, I think that's the guy who did it. He posted screenshots because he or someone he knows got access to the Dogman 2 account and showed that, oh look, the email that it's showing that it's verified to is Kero's email, but also the account was suspended. So it was this weird thing where it's that was a default email, but he also couldn't prove that's what it was verified to. Because the box that it showed, it was something you could type a new email into. So it's well, okay, Kero could say that that's not his account, and you just typed his email address in there to make it look like it was his and took the screenshot.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to go through the whole process of verifying the account to prove this is beyond. This is Kero's account. This is registered to his email.
Yeah, a shut down account as well, which can't be easy.
Yeah, it was. I think it was. Yeah, it was suspended for like suspicious activity. I think it was, or or if it was because yeah, something like that. And so you'd have to like, in order to get access to the account back, you would basically have to reset the password and verify it to an email.
Yeah.
And so, during the whole, and they also because it turns out Kero has very bad security, despite being involved in some very criminal shit, and he uses the same password for everything. And so they found that the password for the Dogman 2 account was the same password for Kero's email.
Oh no! So people logged in and found everything.
Yeah, so they logged into his email because that's how they were able to confirm the Reddit stuff. Because it's like, okay, in 2020 we can see that he was getting emails that because Reddit had done some like new like a service update or something, or a policy update or something that was big enough that they had to email people. And so they've got 2 emails from them saying like, oh, like please log into your account. And it was from the same day, so it wasn't a matter of like one came in and then a week later another one came in like a reminder or something. And so they had okay, like we have TS2 accounts, so if we verify the Dogman 2 to his email and then it shows up as 3 accounts, then we know something's up. But if it's, if we still like put the username request in and it shows 2 accounts, then we know that, yeah, this was registered to his email all along. And that's what happened.
And they got 2.
Yep. Yeah, it's better explained on Kiwi Farms. They have a whole thing explaining it. I don't know what all happened.
Yeah.
Or all the technical know-how. So if I'm not explaining anything correctly, yeah, just the post in the thread has a lot more info.
Yeah, no, Kiwi Farms does have it, and I'll see if I'll link that in the description as well. So yeah, no, there's been a lot of stuff that has been brought up now, and this has kind of just been a general overview of the situation as to what's going down essentially with Kero and what's been said and done.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm interested though in seeing how this sort of pans out, because what do you think he's gonna do now?
He said he's gonna... he said in that vet video that he's like going, like he might be coming back under like a new name or something, because that's his only option if he wants to stay in the fandom, is he has to pick a new name because he can't be Kero anymore.
Yeah.
So I imagine he'll be back under a different name. Though he's gone, like, it's been dead air since the Reddit logs dropped. So.
Yeah. So we'll see. But no, currently he is not active on pretty much anything. I have sent out a request, though. I sent out a message to Kero on Twitter asking actually if he wants to come on, because it's only fair if he gets his stage as well, because here we have Archive the Wolf, who has compiled videos upon videos with evidence that has popped up over time, done analyzing of all manners of shit that has just appeared in regards to this, trying to separate what what's true and what isn't.
Mm-hmm. And
here's Kero, who's done nothing. He is all that I've seen is that he's been running his mouth saying I'm innocent, whilst flailing massively.
Yeah, and contradicting himself and forgetting the things he said in the past.
Yeah. And it becomes even more like disgusting, at least in my eyes, when he comes back with this attempt at a heartfelt message. When he's like, we have problems in the fandom, and there it is, cancel culture.
God.
Fucking hell. If anything...
He legitimately thought he could come back, like people would buy that, the police didn't find him, so it's just cancel culture. He actually thought that.
Is there any way that he could have come back?
I think the only thing way he could have come back is if he just confessed. I mean, I don't think he would have been welcomed back to the community at all, but at least it would have been some closure.
Yeah, I think there would be a bit closer, and he would have become almost like a protectorate of the furry state, if you get what I mean. Essentially, like a convict who has admitted to the stuff that he has been doing. He proves himself that yes, this has happened, this is true, and all that stuff. In that case, he should have started if he started some form of advocacy against animal abuse.
I mean, I still wouldn't trust it. I don't want him anywhere near animals or doing anything with animals.
Oh, no, I don't want him to do anything with animals. But I'm saying that he would start talking about what he did, why he did, perhaps.
Yeah, and then just leave the internet forever. Like, I think that's the closest that would come to be accepting. And that's not accepting him, but just accepting what he's saying.
Yeah. Because at the very least, then people would have some sort of closure. We wouldn't be left in the dark. Or I say, as if I'm a part of it, which not really. I'm just here talking about it.
I mean, I guess since this went out to the internet at large, thanks to people like Metokur talking about it, I guess there would be some closure outside the fandom too.
Yeah. But that's actually an interesting thing. So, the fandom at large, what has happened with them because of this? Because there's a video you made. Which was like the Zoosadist evidence a year later, where you said that, so what has really happened at the end of everything? Not much. Has that changed in any way? Has something happened? Or is it just the same?
I mean, that was more in terms of police action, but it kind of has been still not a whole lot has happened, especially because at least on places like Twitter now, there's been the whole zoo pride movement and people trying to proudly be zoophiles.
But hasn't that diminished though?
And a bit, but it's definitely still there.
Okay.
And so now it's just it's just something that's just constantly being fought against now.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine who, or friend of friend, I have an acquaintance of mine called Coyote Lovely, if you know who that is.
Yeah, Coyote Lovely.
Yeah. He goes and talks a lot about zoophilia and stuff like that goes on in the fandom and in general, trying to essentially root it out in one way or another. Yeah,
has a channel where he talks about a lot of the zoo Twitter sphere.
Yeah.
And just shits on them.
Yeah, and stuff like that. So most certainly does exist. If people want to look at that as well, I'll link that in the description below. Because again, this video is a little bit of an opener to quite the field in question for people to just dig in and find what's up. So, as a concluding factor, though, do you think that the fandom itself recognizes what he has done? And I'm talking about the organizational level. Do they recognize what has happened here? Do they recognize the people that were involved? And do they take some form of stance against it? Or do they take any form of stance at all?
It kind of depends on who you're talking about with that. Because there are some people like Cepheus. I mean, granted, part of it's because he's in Europe, I'm in America, so I'm very separate from that community, but he is still hanging around in the furry fandom there, and there hasn't really been any efforts to push him out as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
But then with Kero, he's been turned into a complete fucking pariah, just shoved out. He's been banned from multiple conventions, he's banned from Fur Affinity. But then you have Tane, who was another one of the Zoosadists, and he's part of the West Coast furry convention scene, and he's got a whole cavalcade of people circling the wagons hardcore around him to protect him and keep him in the community.
Why? What? This is something I also wanted to talk about, actually, because I'm a little bit curious. Why is it that they want to keep these people? If it is confirmed what they've done, or
because either they're into it too, or they don't believe it, or they don't care.
Okay. So
most of the time it's because they're into it too.
Okay. Well, if you say that, and what you say is accurate, in accordance also with the fact that there's apparently a large group of people in the West that just want to protect him, there was a survey done a few years ago now, where I think it was nearly 20% of the ones that took it self-identified as zoophiles. And this was a furry survey. Would you believe that's accurate? Or would you believe it's more or less?
Absolutely, I believe that's accurate.
Do you believe
from everything I've seen?
Okay. Do you believe it would be more or less of that?
I guess it's hard to say, just because the fandom is so huge, and also like I am like narrowed in on such a vile part of the community that I'm not seeing. I acknowledge I'm not seeing the big picture with it.
Yeah.
The much wider community outside of that, but I definitely believe the 20%, and I could definitely believe that it's more than that.
Right. See, what I think though is that when it comes to the whole furry fandom, in the way that they seem to be located right now, they are in a huge sort of a huge problem with something that they don't seem to want to address. When I say they, I to a certain degree mean the upper staff. I'm talking about. Have you managed to watch the Fandom, by the way, the documentary?
No, I still haven't gotten around to watching that yet.
Okay, because I watched it. And I can tell you, I was disappointed with the final outcome, because their argument was essentially that, we have been stomped on, we have been called this and that, people haven't enjoyed our presence, and they've also labeled us as things that we're not. But on the same time, yeah, sex is of course going to be prevalent in the fandom. What are you surprised about? Essentially trying to justify that, sex is a part of the fandom, which it is. I'm not gonna, try and say that it isn't. I mean, it's in fucking every fandom if you think of it. I mean, fucking Rule 34 exists for a reason. But
yeah, that one specific World of Warcraft server with all the ERP going on.
Or the lovely tavern at Argent Dawn, which is not particularly nice. It went
not lovely at all.
No, it went from humanoids to equines really quickly, sadly.
Oh no.
So, moving very swiftly on. Yeah, no, I think the furry fandom is in a very unfortunate state when they seem to have a lot of... They are moving the goalposts of what seems to be acceptable. And the reason I'm saying this is because of new phenomenons that pop up. And they seem to be fairly, semi-frequent. That's just trying to bridge the gap between zoophilia and the fandom further. Which is, you have stuff like Zoo Pride, which is a thing. And you also have stuff like feral art. Or feral NSFW art.
Yeah, the feral is a bigger thing in the furry community as far as being a thing that's accepted versus Zoo Pride, which is really fucking funny. That you can say how you want to fuck Balto, who is a dog, but if you say you're a zoo, oh no, get the fuck out.
It's weird as fuck.
Yeah,
because it's this really weird moving the goalpost sort of ordeal. I mean, it's
yeah, wanting to have their cake and eat it too, type of thing.
Yeah, by essentially just trying to alter a few details here and there. I mean, if we're gonna be really fucking asshole-ish about it, we have the MAP movement that try to relabel pedophilia as minor attracted people, just to try and be more PR friendly.
Yep.
And it seems as if though that the furry fandom, not specifically MAPs as a problem, but zoophiles as a problem, that seems to be getting more and more ground, or more of that sort of idea is spread. Because for those of you who don't know what feral zoo art pertains to, feral zoo art or feral art is essentially the idea of
just a straight up animal.
It's a straight up animal that just talks.
Say like I said, like Balto or the Lion King characters, that kind of thing.
Yeah. It's fully atomically correct and everything. Yeah, and God, no. It's honestly sickening. I don't understand it.
Yeah, and then it's to be a thing like, oh, like we don't welcome zoos in this fandom, and then anytime an art site tries to stamp out feral art, there's a huge, massive outcry, and they have to back down.
But why?
Like,
What,
you can't have it both ways. You can't have it like where you say we're not a fandom for zoophiles, and then be allowing zoophile art.
So that's a good question, actually. In that case, so if they are allowed to, if they harbor zoophile art, but they're against zoophiles, what's their argument there? Do they have one?
It's the same thing you see with like people who are into lolly and shit, where it's like, oh well, it's fantasy, it's not real. Mm-hmm. It's a talking animal. Real animals can't talk.
Hmm. Yeah, no, it's weird trying to move the goalpost like that, because
it's something I could buy their excuse if I didn't see over and over and over and fucking over people who are into feral turn out to be zoophiles, like full blown actually abusing animals in real life zoophiles.
Do you have any examples of that?
Yeah, Eliteknight. He was one of the guys in the leaks. He was big on feral art.
Okay. Anything more recent, maybe?
Well, Kero tries to hide behind. No, guys, it was all feral art and fantasy.
Yeah, no. I think it was feral art without the VR headset.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh. So there was actually this online convention. It was called Feral Con, and it's for people who like feral art. But then like people dug up the F-list profiles of the people running it, and all of them had Zoophilia in their favorites. And there were numerous zoophiles attending the convention, and the Kero was actually going on an alt account.
I want to... Is this a thing? Is this still a thing, or is this something that it has been? Like, an actual convention that was about this?
It happened in 2020, so it was the first time it was ever held, and it was an online-style convention, just because everything was still shut down.
Yeah.
Because of COVID.
Yeah. So this is something that happened last year only. How successful was this?
I think it was pretty small. Mm-hmm. Excuse me, I haven't heard anything about it coming back for a year or two.
Okay. Maybe it's gotten like a lot of throwback, like you're causing us trouble. If you ask me, it seems more along the line of that feral art seems to be like this open secret. Because it's like it's this open secret that they don't really push against, just because of the basic fact that they, for some reason, need these people. And that worries me, because if it comes to the conclusion that they don't remove these people because they apparently need these people, then comes the question like, okay, what the fuck would happen without them? What would the fandom be without these feral art people that you're talking about? What would the fandom just collapse? Is that your fucking concern? Because in that case, burn it to the ground.
Then it deserves to collapse, if that's what it's hinging on.
Yeah.
Actually, it brings me back to I'm sure you all know about Rainforest.
Yeah, I do.
I think it was about a year after it closed. One of the people who was like head of staff there wrote this in memoriam or mortuary style thing where they basically dissected what happened. I think it's if the community. Okay, no, I was talking about Rainforest. Okay, let me get back to that.
The immemorial thing.
Yeah, so they were talking about what happened to Rainforest to make it collapse. And one of the things they talked about was that they had all these people who are causing problems. And instead of doing anything about it, staff was just like, oh, well, we'll just be nice to them. Like, we don't want to kick anybody out. We want to be a nice convention that everybody can come to. And it ended up with everybody doing drugs, drilling glory holes into the bathroom, and diapers everywhere because they weren't putting their foot down.
See, this is a thing that repeatedly seems to come back to, which is a point I made like 2 years ago that seems to stand still, which really just makes me look at the fandom with less and less conviction that it's ever going to be good in that sense. Because it seems as if though the furry fandom, and I want to hear your opinion on this. So the furry fandom, as far as I see it, is a fandom of rejects. Essentially, the fandom that was built up when because early in life you had essentially the nerds that were considered the weirdos, the ones who didn't like sports, for example, who liked playing Dungeons and Dragons and sitting and playing really advanced video games or strategy games and just Alpha Centauri and stuff like that. The nerds, the first sort of outcasts. And then when furries came around, they sort of even became a little bit outcast from those kinds of things as well, because the specific things that they wanted to do in the games in question, for example, D&D, thrown out just because of the fact that they were acting really weird about it. Or essentially they seem to be the rejects of the rejects. In that,
the fandom as it exists today, it's sprung out of the sci-fi community, basically being its own thing, because they were like niche enough that even in the sci-fi community, people thought they were weird. So they just like, fuck it, we'll just be our own thing then.
Yeah. And, to a certain degree, that's like commendable that they wanted to make their own thing. But the problem is the fact that without the directive, without, a certain sense of framework, it appears as if though now they have just sprawled out to become this, how do I say?
Almost like eldritch abomination. It's just impossible to comprehend.
It's like this. Yeah, it's like a weird mass of all these. Well, how do I say? It's like friendship and happiness. Also, BDSM panel in 2 minutes. It's like, what the fuck? and it all correlates really poorly with each other, especially when they're so closely connected, because it makes it so weird, and especially when it appears kid-friendly in a sense. It appears as if though...
or like they try to promote it as kid-friendly, but then they have all this sex stuff going on. It's like, you need to pick one or the other, dude.
Yeah, and
because it's not just a matter of the sex stuff happens, it's that the sex stuff is a very prevalent part of the fandom.
Yeah, and to a certain degree, to their credit, like when the what's it called? Their conventions, they have like adult hour, where it's like, okay, no more underage people, only 18 plus.
Yeah.
So at least that's fair enough. But it appears.
Yeah, I'm talking more about like online.
Oh yeah, online.
If I want to be in the Pokemon community, I could play the games. I could play the card game. I could talk with people online about like the meta of the competitive scene, and I don't have to deal with porn. You can't have that with furries.
Yeah, because
you'll constantly be fucking seeing it.
Exactly, and I think that's a huge problem, just because of the fact it's not grounded in a particular medium. It's grounded in a concept. It's grounded in a concept of anthropomorphism, and the problem with that is that then you're going to get everything unless you choose to steer it. And the first way that they seemed to want to steer it was towards classical animation, or just animation in general that was featured around it, expressing people's characteristics, utilizing anthropomorphized people in order to get a further reach with their creative ideas. Mm-hmm. But it appears as if though they're like not even keeping it to that anymore. That is like a free-for-all, and then trying to combine it and make it into a hug box, and everyone smells like piss, alcohol, and semen.
Yeah, it's very much it's not based on any specific shows. Like, they have shows that they like.
Yeah.
But now it's very much about just a general concept and a lot of individualism, like making your own character, making your own art.
Yeah, and certain like, and that's the sense of it, because yeah, you're making your own art, but what are you making it for? Is there a universe that you're attached to? Do you have like some form of framework to work around? Because it doesn't seem like they have that. It seems just as if though that nowadays, when I'm looking at the fandom,
it's very self-indulgent.
Very self-indulgent, but also it's very how do I put it? It's hard for me to find the words. English isn't my first language, but it's a point that I brought back in an older video, where they're very, well, essentially fragmented but united at the same time. The fandom doesn't know what it wants, but it also knows what it wants at the same time.
Yeah, like I said before, very much in having your cake and eating it too type scenario.
Yeah.
Where they want to be a place for sexual freedom, but also want to be a place that children can come around and hang out, and it's like you can't really have both if you're gonna have the sex thing be so prevalent.
Yeah, no, like make a goddamn mind up, and
Yeah, like, it can be a thing, but it can't be as prevalent as it is, and also be kid safe.
Yeah, I mean, taking in 40K. Do you know anything about 40K?
No, I know of it, and like some of a little bit of the lore, but not anything deep about it.
Right. Okay. Basically, to put it into one line of text, in the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, there's only war. So it's grim, it's dark, it's shit. There's one entity, however, there which is essentially the contributor of smut and anything that is sort of sexual in the 40K fandom, and that's Slaanesh, the god of excess, the god of hedonism, and essentially everything that the worst part of the furry fandom harbors. It's not only indulged, but turned into a god. So, and that's prevalent. Yeah. It's not prevalent. It exists. It's a part of the fandom, but it plays a role that is, it's kept for itself. It's not something that every Coomer in the universe is going to run to. Oh well, in setting, yes, but in real life, no. We're concentrating on everything else that's happening on the same time. It's one aspect of a million aspects.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but we are running a little bit overtime now, so I'd say that this would be enough for now. I like to keep these around an hour.
Sure.
But I gotta say though, thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's always interesting to see when people want to come on, see what they have to say. So, we'll see what happens in the future with Kero the Wolf and the rest of the gang.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully something good.
We can all hope. So, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe and share my stuff around, as it does help me a lot. And, of course, remember, check out Archive the Wolf. Everything will be linked in the description with the appropriate titles, and I do suggest you keep up to date. It's always interesting. And if we're lucky, maybe Mr. Kero himself will come and shed a bit more light on the situation from his side, more than the video he made. Cheerios.